Alrighty guys, so this is Higan Eruthyll. Now I do want to preface a couple things before we start. I did not get very far in this game. Like I said, I lost my attention with this game. That just happens with me, that's a me issue. Secondly, the game will look better if you play this on your mobile phone or tablet. This is not initially designed for PC. I'm playing this on an emulator, so any performance issues you see or graphical problems are because it's running on an emulator and not necessarily what native performance will look like, so just keep that in mind. Alright, anyways, so I've got a free pack to claim apparently, so we're going to do just that. Alright. So, let's just jump immediately in and do some combat. Now, I'm currently working through story stages, so we're just going to do some of these story missions. I don't believe these ones are actually story, they're more just like in between stages. But yeah, you can play this game on the emulator. I'm playing this on LD Player 9 on PC currently. It does run pretty well, for the most part. It will get some frame drops here and there with the game because it's not, yet again, not optimized to necessarily be played on PC. But you can do it if you wish to. You can also play on your phone, of course, as well. And it's a pretty good game. Now, obviously, I'm autoing through this stage here. I'm going to show you how you would like kind of manually play the game in a minute if you choose to do that. Because you can just obviously ignore the autoplay if you want to. And for some of the more difficult content of the game, you will have to probably end up manually playing. Alrighty. So basically, when you first start playing the game, with your character set up, when you first start a mission, you'll be able to place your different characters around. Now, with these particular ones, the placement doesn't really matter enormously with this mission in particular, but, for example, there's a couple things to take note of. Firstly, elemental types. So, obviously, there's like that whole like weakness kind of triangle. I think if I click here, it'll show you here. So you can see the weaknesses here. So obviously, you don't want to put a red unit next to like a green unit, because... Sorry, a green unit next to a red unit, because enemy unit, because they're going to take extra damage. So if let's say, for example, we had our green unit up here, that would be a bad idea because they're going to take a lot of extra damage. And this is also signified by the arrow as well. In addition to that, sometimes there'll be like enemy AoEs or different things in the ground, or like buffs or things. Basically, you can get buffed and you can get hit by attacks, so you have to, the formation can actually be kind of important. Let's hit confirm and let's hit fight. I'm going to turn off the auto mode in a minute. All right, there we go. So as you're going to see, your energy kind of builds up over time, and you'll get these essentially abilities that you can essentially drag and cast here. If you've played Blue Archive before, the combat is actually fairly similar to that. And of course, one of my characters ended up dying, which does tend to happen a little bit. So thankfully, there are no 3-star clears in this game. It's just like straight up, you just do the mission. You beat the mission, you get the rewards from my understanding. So yeah, you can basically just keep going. So yeah, there's no 3-star clears in this game, which is something I really appreciate because honestly, I get kind of sick and tired of 3-star clears in most games. Right, let's do one more story stage. So as you can see, there's a exclamation mark above this one. Can I view what that means again? I think usually the exclamation marks mean, it's been a while since I played this, so I could be wrong, but I would think the exclamation mark just means look out for this character. In particular, they're a little bit dangerous, from my understanding. Alright, so let's see if we can get a skill off with this character before she dies this time. We'll get like a bit of a water attack down there. So yet again, my account is not like super built. I didn't get that in time. My account is not super built. I'm still kind of playing through this game. I haven't played this very much, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be playing it a lot this time. But I just kind of, like I said, wanted to jump in and check base with this game. So, what are some things I like about the game? Nice graphics. Fairly decent combat, but if it's not your thing, I can completely understand that. It's a bit more of like it's either your thing or not your thing. So if it's not your thing, you're probably not going to enjoy this game very much. I personally don't mind it. But yeah. So that's the general kind of story missions. I'm not very far into them, if I'm being completely honest, but we do have enough, I believe, to do a pull. So there's this new character out right now, being Florentine. I'm actually going to do some pulls on her because I actually quite like her character design. So let's see if we can potentially maybe get her. I'm not honestly expecting to get her at all. But if we did, that would be kind of insane. So what we're looking for here is a gold pulse. We're guaranteed to get a purple one. So you'll see it in a second. And if we get the legendary... Okay, no legendary, unfortunately. We're just going to be getting the purple pulse there. We'll let it play through anyways. But genuinely, I actually do quite like some of the character designs in this game, and one of this game's strong suits in its character designs, in my opinion, is the way the weapons gonna look. They've just kind of made some really interesting looking weapons, and I kind of like that a lot with this game. Alrighty, I do unfortunately already have that 4-star character. I think these are all duplicates, or any of these new characters. I don't think so. Okay, they're all duplicates. That's kind of rough. Okay. Well, anyways, that's the summoning animation for you. In addition to that, you've also got the roster screen, so these are going to show you some of your different characters. I actually quite like the interface of this game. I feel like that's something they did pretty well. As you can see, I'm really not that far into the game yet. I might give this game a little bit more time. But this is one of my favorite characters here. She's like kind of like a composer, and she has this little like shark robotic fish thing, and I think it looks awesome. But basically, skilling in this game revolves down to... Oh god, I don't remember how to do it. It's been a while. Hold on. How do I actually level? Oh, that's right. Sorry, I have to get my upgrades a bit further first before I can continue leveling it. But the level up button will be down here. You then have skills, which will come in here and level up these with your different resources, either like your traces or your talents from like Genshin or Honkai. And then you have your duplicate shard system. This is what you get from summoning multiple characters. Now, let's take a look at some of the other gameplay modes that you'll essentially be doing. I haven't unlocked all of them, so I can't show you kind of all of them or explain what all of them are. But there's two sets of them here. So basically you have your different resource grinds. These are pretty standard for most of your gacha games. I'm not going to show you all of these. You then have the Dream Book or Dream Bank. I'm assuming these are a way to get and get some shards for some characters. And you could also get a little bit of currency for first time clears too, which is not too bad. And then the other one I have in this stage unlocked is the Elemental Rhapsody. So these essentially allow you to get materials for those ascensions and skill upgrades and all that kind of stuff. These are very, very useful. And then we have the Memorizing Labyrinth. I have not unlocked that one, unfortunately. And then we have Transcendent Domain. I actually don't know what this game mode does. I haven't played a lot of these. Like I said, I haven't played most of this game, and as you can see, I've still got some of these to kind of unlock. I might make some updated videos maybe in a few days once I've played a bit more of these. Maybe. That depends on whether this game can actually keep my attention for a little bit. Because I do have a habit of getting distracted quite a lot. Alright, anyways. But yeah. Overall, it can be a pretty nice game if you're looking for a good like side game to play, or you're just looking for something a little bit different. I would recommend trying the game if you really want to. Something to keep in mind though, it is a Bilibili published game, and I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be the case with this one, but over time, these games tend to be a little bit more, can be a little bit more pay to win over time. But from what I can tell, honestly, I think this one's pretty fine. I don't think it's that bad. But that will remain to be seen. So my biggest complaint when the game first started, and I'm not sure if this has changed necessarily yet, but by far my biggest issue with the game was the fact that they don't really give you a whole lot of daily stamina, and it seems like that hasn't honestly changed. Granted, I have a few of these kind of sitting in the back burner, but that only lasts you for so long. And grinding gear and different materials can be really, really shit when you basically, they give you like almost zero stamina to do so. Not to mention the fact that you also need, where are we? You also need stamina for clearing story stages. So you need stamina for clearing story stages, you need it for event clearing stages, you need it for a bunch of different things, and that can kind of just get really shitty. Speaking of which, it could just be that I haven't unlocked it yet because I'm too low level, but I actually don't think there's an event running in the game at the moment. That's a little concerning when there's just nothing happening in the game. But maybe I've just come into like the one day where there's just like nothing kind of going on. Am I just completely wrong about that? Hell, maybe there is an event kind of running at the moment, and I just don't have it unlocked. So I'm gonna keep my opinion of that on hold because I don't necessarily know whether I'm actually even correct about that. This could be wrong. Yeah, but anyways guys, overall I'd say it's a pretty decent game if you're looking for a new game to try, if you haven't played one before. And like I said, some of the character designs are pretty interesting, some of them are pretty fun. The game does run fairly decently on the emulator, although it does kind of look a little bit fuzzy on my blown up screen. But for the most part, you can do it if you want to. It runs well on phones. Nice graphics, decent combat if you're into that kind of style of combat, and not to mention that the game also just kind of feels pretty nice to play. It's nice to play something a little bit different every now and then. And I like good like 3D games with like good character designs like these. And do keep in mind as well, the monetization might over time get slightly worse over time. So far though, it doesn't seem necessarily that that's happened yet because it hasn't really changed since I last saw it. But overall, yeah, this is Higan Eruthyll. If you guys want to check this game out, I'll leave a link in the description below if you wish to download it. Anyways guys, hopefully you all had a good one. I'll see you guys in another video another time. Bye guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Do it. Yeah, go down below. Yep, alright.